Welcome to our second matchup. The Gateway City, St. Louis, Missouri, just down the road. We're in Maryland Heights, Missouri. Two of the most storied programs in the history of college hockey. They've combined for 17 national titles, 49 appearances in the Frozen Four. Michigan and North Dakota meeting in this regional to advance to play the Big Ten champs Michigan State in a thriller in game one, an overtime winner. Jeremy Davidson in overtime. Michigan State rallied from 2 goals down in the third to force overtime. There is the winner. So Michigan State gets our winner. A thrilling game one. I think we're going to have a thrilling game two also. Ben Clymer, Roxy Bernstein. A lot of firepower with both these teams.
Well, laced with NHL talent, an unbelievable power play full of Wolverines. At one point, clicking at 40% this year. Now just a 35% clip. Have to be disciplined if you're the Fighting Hawks, but wow, do they have some offensively gifted players as well.
Well, Michigan's got the 1-2 punch up front that you're really going to have to contend with if you're North Dakota.
Well, Rutger McGroarty has been simply sparkling, as has Gavin Brindley, the two guys who really drive the Michigan Wolverine offense. 1 and 2 in points in the Big Ten. They feed off one another as well as any duo we've seen in some time. Brindley, so dynamic in the way he does things. Now for the Fighting Hawk, Jackson Blake, 59 points leading the NCHC. His center, Owen McLaughlin. That line is going to be heavily relied upon to get on the board for the Fighting Hawks. All about speed and dynamic plays with Jackson Blake and Owen McLaughlin, and Jackson Kunis will join that duo.
Ludwig Persson in the nets for North Dakota. He's missed the last 3 games. Second team all NCHC. And on the other end, the local kid, Jake Barchevsky. He's from O'Fallon, Missouri. About 10 minutes from here he grew up. He needed about 40 to 50 tickets for his family, his friends, the homecoming. This is a huge deal for Jake Barchevsky.
Well, second year in a row as well, playing on a big stage in the NCAA playoffs. Last year for Canisius, facing off against the Gophers. This guy has been good all season long, grabbing the starting reins from Noah West, who has spotted in at times. They have been relied upon heavily for Coach Naurato, and we're off and battling here early.
And fired in by Rutger McGroarty. As Michigan wearing the blue and the whites for North Dakota. The Fighting Hawks are the 2 seed, Michigan the 3 seed. As North Dakota, the regular season champs in the NCHC, but lost in the semis of the Frozen face-off to Omaha.
The Omaha falling to Minnesota. You can take a look there at Reese Gaver, a leader of this hockey team, not just with that seed, but in his contributions offensively.
Michigan, who lost in overtime to Michigan State in the Big Ten championship game in East Lansing last weekend, as the captain Jacob Truscott sends it in from center. On the breakout for North Dakota, up the wall is Jackson Blake, son of the former NHLer Jason Blake, who was the Masterson Trophy winner back in 2008. Through center, Dylan Duke takes a rough ride into the boards for Michigan. Blake eludes a check. North Dakota looking to move up ice. Dumped in for Owen McLaughlin. And beating him to the puck is Marshall Warren. Transfer from BC for Michigan. And Warren, wearing number 77 in blue, leads it up the boards and out. And Logan Britt there for North Dakota plays it ahead. Hunter Johannes, who played his home college hockey in this building for Lindenwood last year. Transfer. Lays it back to the point. And a shot that goes wide from Abram Weeb, freshman from Mission, British Columbia. Chipped up the boards, hustling after it. Gavin Brindley, and a race for the puck, and icing waved off as he was going stride for stride with Logan Britt.
Unbelievable speed that Brindley has. He's made defenders pay all season long there, and there extends a play.
Josh Ernessy, a steal for Michigan. The defenseman. Michigan trying to hug the wall over there. Ernest. And here comes North Dakota and feathered along. And peeling off is Jaden Perron for North Dakota. Back defensively, Luca Fantilli, brother of Adam Fantilli, last year's Hobie Baker winner, number 63 in blue. And here is Fantilli, and he takes a hit from Carson Albrecht to make the play. And now Michigan looks to move out. And fired in by Mark Estapa, the junior from St. Clair, Michigan. Through center. Leaving it for Ben Strinden, and the Fargo native. Here comes Michigan. Through center, chipping it to himself along the wall. Chase Putski back in the lineup for Michigan. And he takes a hit from Keaton Pearson, the former Wolverine, who's on defense for North Dakota, number 20. Played his last 4 years with the Wolverines, got his degree from Michigan last spring. He said it was going to be a weird yet fun experience tonight.
Well, this game will mean a little bit more for him.
Nick Barczewski tested for the first time, and he makes 2 saves. Philip LaPointe, and he plays it ahead, the son of Martin LaPointe, 16 years in the NHL, won a couple of cups with the Red Wings. And as a stick goes flying up into the crowd, and it was the stick of Dylan Duke that lands in the second row. And we have an early penalty, and the lethal power play gets to go to work for Michigan.
Take a look at what North Dakota was bringing at Barczewski here. Gaber releases a knuckle puck far side there, and all of a sudden Barczewski's swimming in that goal crease. Fortunate that LaPointe came in to gobble up that rebound. And so UND will be short-handed. Dylan James will sit for that interference call, and the best power play in all of college hockey will hit the ice.
35.3% on the power play for Michigan this year. They have 7 power play goals in the last 5 games. Held in at the line by Gavin Brindley.
Well, it's comical, but it's also, you know, the envy of all of college hockey.
Nice diving attempt, knocked down to the stick in midair. Rutger McGroarty, but a clear for North Dakota.
Well, Coach Dorado's talked about the fact that, hey, you want to play your top defenders against this group? No problem. I'll follow up with the second group that's nearly as good. They just have an absolute luxury of riches with offensive talents. You see Casey go down there and look for a call.
Right up along the wall. Now here comes North Dakota shorthanded. Carson Albrecht.
Great hunger by Albrecht there to get that puck out.
Still a minute 10 to go in the power play. McGroarty across the line, leaves it. Here is Seamus Casey wheeling his way in. Plays it across. And a shot that goes high from Gavin Brindley. And now North Dakota moves out. Good job on the penalty kill. Reese Gaber shorthanded. And a penalty coming up as a shot and a save. And the penalty coming up against Michigan. But a great shorthanded chance for Reese Gaber of North Dakota.
Well, Gaber just creates something out of nothing with his feet, puts the defender in a difficult situation where he has to make a decision. Am I going to give him the far side, or I'm going to put my hands on him? He does so, draws the penalty. What an opportunity there for Schmaltz, who comes in on Barczewski, who had to be sharp.
So James still in the box in the interference call for North Dakota for another 50 seconds. Then the Fighting Hawks could go on a power play, and it's Gavin Brindley going in for hooking.
Well, there's a double negative there for the Wolverines, obviously losing the power play, but then one of the most dangerous players shorthanded is Gavin Brindley, and the Wolverines will be up without his service once this power play sums up.
We're 4-on-4 for the next 30 seconds. And a chance, score! Right in the slot. Hunter Johannes. Third straight game with a goal for Johannes, and Nodak strikes first. 4-on-4. And the former Lindenwood player, this used to be his home rink, and he gets the scoring going for the Fighting Hawks.
What an incredible feeling, and how about this? They pick up. It's an odd man rush, not for the Fighting Hawks, but Defensively for the Wolverines, a 3-on-2 is in 3 defenders, but yet a cross and drop situation here opens things up. A great backhand feed there into Johannes. And how about the feed there?
So Abram Weeb, the assist to Hunter Johannes, his 12th of the year. And again, 3rd straight game with a goal. We're still 4-on-4, and then North Dakota will go on a power play. Across, Dylan Duke. Lays it in down low. James about to come out of the box for North Dakota. An abbreviated power play of a minute 10 now. Long stretch pass out of the box for James. And he can't handle the pass, and Michigan gets a clear all the way down.
What an unbelievable turn of events. Michigan has a power play. All of a sudden, 4-on-4. I think no big deal. They'll just follow up with O'Grady, maybe Nazer up front. 4-on-4 hockey. Gaber turns things on its end, and they have a great 4-on-4 goal by Johannes. Ebb and flow, just like we saw in the first game of momentum.
Now, we talked about Michigan's lethal power play. Well, North Dakota's got a really good one also, as Jackson Blake back in his own end as the Fighting Hawks 9th in the country at just under 26%. But since January 1st, up over 30% with their power play, 31% for North Dakota.
Everyone knows about Jackson Blake, but Jake Livanovich has really been a solid contributor, a freshman defenseman, very dynamic.
Big hit delivered by Jackson Kuntz for North Dakota. Reese Gaber along the wall, plays it across to Blake. Jackson Blake dancing at the blue line. Stick handles, and a pass in front's deflected by the skate of Tyler Duke of Michigan. And out of the box is Brindley, and the power play is ended. But still the pressure on. Reese Gaber overskates the puck. Cameron Berg for North Dakota. Takes the body from Seamus Casey in the corner. And first one on the puck there for Michigan with a backhand out is Keenan Draper, the son of Chris Draper, the former Stanley Cup winner with the Red Wings.
Not a shocker that he's an impactful penalty killer for the Wolverines.
And Dad was known for that, and coming across with a big hit is the freshman Jake Livanovich for North Dakota. Michigan has taken just one shot so far. Weaving his way through, Owen McLaughlin. Jake Barczewski leaves it for Marshall Warren. Out of the zone. Frank Nazer the third. Off to LaPointe. Philip LaPointe lays it behind. Edgar McGroarty along the half wall. And a riser that goes up over the net, off the glass, and all the way down as Warren goes back to get it for Michigan. Nazer ahead for LaPointe. And a good defensive play by Nathan Benoit. The freshman is only in the lineup because Garrett Pike is out tonight. Reliable top defenseman for North Dakota unavailable. And so Nathan Benoit thrust into the lineup for North Dakota.
So the Fighting Hawks on the board early with a 4-on-4 marker, and their fans are loving it.
Michigan, their 41st tournament appearance. They've been in the Frozen Four each of the last 2 years. These two programs have combined for 17 national titles, 49 Frozen Four appearances.
Forces to be reckoned with, teams built for this time of the year.
Puck lofted down the ice. Nick Moldenhauer goes to run it down for Michigan. Keaton Pearson, the former Wolverines, for the Fighting Hawks. Knocked down by Seamus Casey, but can't hold it in. Played ahead by Michigan and tapped in by TJ Hughes. The loss of Garrett Pike and not having him in the lineup for North Dakota, what does that mean?
Well, the physical play in the defensive zone, just the reliability, not that dissimilar to David Gucciardi that we were talking about in game number one. Just a solid contributor all 200 feet of the ice, and a leader as well. And that, you talked about, how sometimes these teams in this environment can play tight. Actually, both these teams right now are playing loose and fast, which the coaches have to be happy about. But if all of a sudden there's a situation where, they're trying to find some perseverance, he certainly would have been one of the players to speak up.
First time in 4 years that Garrett Pike has missed a game. Shifsky across the line, plays it over the wing, and fanning on a shot is Stephen Holtz. And a one-timer from the blue line. That's turned aside off the stick of Tyler Duke, but Michigan still applying the pressure from the wall. And unable to get a shot cleanly through is Stephen Holtz, who goes to chase after it for Michigan. And Holtz chips it right into the North Dakota bench. And a faceoff will come near center.
Yeah, Holtz under some significant pressure there as he was trying to make something out of a broken play in the neutral zone, really just trying to chip it past the first row of Fighting Hawk players. A look at Brad Berry, 9th year as the bench boss. Won 2016 national championship as his first year as he took over for Dave Hackstall, who now is with the Seattle Kraken. Was with the Philadelphia Flyers before that.
Brad Berry played in the NHL with the Jets, Minnesota, and Dallas. And a takeaway in the neutral zone by Jackson Blake. Laid back toward the North Dakota end, and Keaton Pearson goes to play it. Into the zone. Played through to the other side by Jackson Kuntz. Jumping on the puck, Marshall Warren for Michigan. Josh Ernessy plays it in deep as the Wolverines change. And they're going to call icing as they're going to say the touch-up was beyond the red line. So an icing call against Michigan. And a face-off will come back near Jake Barczewski on the Michigan end of the ice.
A great transition for the Fighting Hawks, and that's what really will aid their speed. As you watch them collect this puck, it's just a D-to-D and up the wall, moving the puck vertically, gaining an entrance into the Wolverine zone. The more they can do that, the more they can bump in to the likes of McLaughlin and Blake's talents.
Still just one shot from Michigan. Stick work, good work along the wall by Hunter Johannes for North Dakota. Frank Nazer gets it clear. This one rolls all the way down. Another icing against Michigan as Bennett Smollett goes back to get it for North Dakota.
It's another offensive opportunity for Coach Brad Berry to pick his participants. Coach Naurato, he's going to have to stick with players on the ice.
Second season as Brandon Naurato had the interim removed late last March.
Yeah, right as they were in the midst of their NCAA Frozen Four berth. A difficult situation he had to fight through. There was the interim tag for a while. And then he did have, a contract extension as well. So recruiting in that environment, very difficult, but yet he's been able to put an unbelievably talented group together.
Not knowing was the toughest thing for him, but talking to him yesterday, said, look, only control what you can control. And I couldn't worry about the bigger picture. I could only focus on what I had in front of me with this team. And it got rewarded by having the interim tag removed. Upended. Now here comes Ben Strinden for North Dakota. He gets tripped, no call. And Michigan looking to move the puck out. Through center. Across the line. Here's Draper. The opposite corner for LaPointe. Yep. 20, maybe 30 years ago, the Red Wings, you could have said that too.
Correct. Correct.
Here comes Jake Schmaltz for North Dakota. The cousin of Nick Schmaltz, former UND Fighting Hawk. And just tapping it ahead, trying to move it up the wall. But Nick Boldenhauer had it wrestled away. Louis Jamernick, the fifth for North Dakota. Love down by Reese Gaber. Lays it to the left wing corner. At the point, James off a deflection. It gets pinballed around in front. Never got through to Jake Barczewski, though.
I think that ended up hitting Gaber of all people.
Racing after it, Dylan James for the Fighting Hawks. Luca Fantilli tries to push it around, but taken back by North Dakota. Here is Gaber, looking for help. Dumps it into the right wing corner, but nobody there for North Dakota, and lifted out by Tyler Duke. Touch with a high stick, and this will come all the way down.
We'll go back for another offensive zone faceoff.
All the way back to the other end one more time.
Jake Barczewski will have to be sharp. Was watching the defensemen to see if they're able to get a change. They were hemmed in for some time. They were. Warren, one of the big heavies out there, lining up across from Jackson Blake. No doubt understanding that they will match up quite often.
Here comes Michigan. Gavin Brindley turns it over. Centering pass from Blake. Driving the net. Fanning on a shot. Right in tight was Jackson Kuntz. He had his stick lifted. Blake across. Logan Britt for North Dakota. And a stick save over to the corner by Jake Barczewski. Through center. Gavin Brindley for Michigan. He goes aggressively after it. Runs into Logan Britt.
Not something you see Gavin Brindley doing, but I think just understanding this is the time of year we're at. Whatever it takes, I got to do it.
Seamus Casey, a turnaround shot, seeing it all the way. Ludwig Persson swallows it up. And the transfer from Miami hangs on for a face-off. 1-0 North Dakota. The coach of the Fighting Hawks, Brad Berry, joins us next. Dakota head coach Brad Berry, and you get the early goal. You have to like what you've seen from your team. What are you seeing that you like so much?
A lot of energy. All four lines going, all six defensemen here moving pucks north and forechecking like crazy and doing a good job of our habits and details. Got to continue on through the rest of this period.
Coach, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Habits and details. Love hearing that from the coach, and those are words that they take serious. And you're a foot here, a foot there. It doesn't seem like a lot, but all of a sudden your outstretched stick can't close down a lane. Those are the types of things that Coach Berry likes about his team's structure so far. Those great turnovers, and those turnovers often, well, that creates the offense.
Impressive defensive play by Seamus Casey there.
Oh, he's so dynamic. It's unbelievable. And you think they just had Quinn Hughes, and then all of a sudden they had Luke Hughes, and now they've got Seamus Casey.
Breaking in. Jake Livanovich for North Dakota, and the freshman driving the net. Shot is blocked, never got through from Hunter Johannes, who has the only goal so far, and Livanovich fires it right back in for North Dakota. Ethan Edwards, a backhand up the wall. TJ Hughes.
Schmaltz on a seek and destroy mission there.
Going wide. Dylan Duke circles around the net. Pass in front, trying to connect with Nick Moldenhauer, but kept alive by Michigan. Here's Hughes along the half wall. Moldenhauer trying to move in. And it's tipped out and into the North Dakota bench, as it was Carson Albrecht knocking it out of play for North Dakota.
Seamus Casey, and we made mention of the Hughes brothers that have come in. Coach Rob Rassi also coached Adam Fox, who's been quite a successful NHL. As you look at Quinn Hughes and Seamus Casey's numbers, obviously Quinn Hughes through a bit more of his career, but not too far off. Some incredible numbers thus far for Seamus Casey.
Sophomore's on a 5-game point streak for Michigan, and he was drafted in the second round a couple of years ago by the Devils. And talking to Brandon Naurato about him yesterday, and I asked him, is there one area with Casey that you see it's gotten better? He goes, it's not one area. Every single aspect of his game has improved. Michigan attacking the net, and they guilty maybe of overpassing right there and don't get a shot off, and now here comes North Dakota back the other way.
Well, continuing on your thought on Casey, it's the plays that he doesn't make that I think are the signs of maturity. When the play collapses and he doesn't try to force it in, because when you're forcing it in, it generally creates a turnover.
Dumping on the loose puck, Jackson Kuntz, and the Grand Forks native through center ice for North Dakota, and a whistle. 4:46 to go in the first. North Dakota, the early lead on Michigan, and the winner gets Michigan State Sunday night.
Hello everyone, Andrew Raycroft, Ardo Cal with you. An exciting period so far. What's your key takeaway?
North Dakota, big, strong, getting in on the forecheck, leading 7-2 in shots. They've been able to take it to Michigan. Michigan's lucky right now that they're not down 2 or 3.
All right, Rod. Razor and I will break down the period as well. Some overtime thrillers earlier in the day. We will get you all caught up.
Yeah, guys, we had a fun one in game one. And the late comeback by Michigan State. And here in game two, the 1-0 lead. And North Dakota's really dictating play, Ben.
Well, they certainly have been the better of the offensive side of the puck. And Michigan averaging 35 shots a game, just 2 so far on the opening 15 minutes and change. Something Coach Dorado will likely address as he hits the intermission break.
But defensively, is there something you're seeing from North Dakota that has Michigan off their game right now?
You know, they can skate with Michigan. That's something not a lot of teams can really say. And I think also they've done a good job when they've had an opportunity to have body contact. They've done so.
There's contact in the corner and winning the puck battle. Aaron Weeb, who has an assist for North Dakota, and the goal by Hunter Johannes. How about that play coming through center by Jackson Blake? The nifty stick work.
As if you didn't know he was coordinated. Now you certainly do. Unbelievable juggling act there by the Eden Prairie native.
And he gets ripped off the puck by Frank Nazer III, then overskates it. And a backhand into the zone. LaPointe can't get to it. It's controlled by Owen McLaughlin for North Dakota. Weaves his way through center. And the pass broken up and a takeaway for Michigan. And here comes Draper. Keenan Draper plays it behind the cage. In the corner, Chase Pletzky for Michigan. Pass to nobody in particular, and skating it out is Jake Livanovich for Nodak, and he plays it in. Stephen Holtz. And the pass broken up by the stick of Jake Schmaltz for North Dakota. And the keeper, Ludwig Persson, leaves it behind his net for the former Wolverine, Keaton Pearson, who played with the likes of Owen Power and Luke Hughes. The deep partners with him at times during his Michigan run. And it's kicked out of the zone by Dylan Duke for the Wolverines. Duke plays it ahead. Here's Moldenhauer from the wing. Moves in and fans. And it's North Dakota skating it out in Hunter Johannes. Goes wide around Casey. Left the puck behind. Britt at the point. Here is Johannes in the corner. And it rolls in toward the slot. It played out by the captain, Jacob Truscott for Michigan. And a big hit delivered. Boy, Hunter Johannes leveling Seamus Casey. High and wide on a wrister.
Exuding physical dominance there. Wow, what a strong play.
Aaron Weeb scampers after it. Final 2:20 of period one. Shot 7-2 North Dakota. Aiden Perron turns it over. Goes back toward the North Dakota end where Bennett Smolik goes back to get it. His dad Doug, 8 years in the NHL with the Sharks, Kings, the Blackhawks. Transfer from Minnesota State. Cleared out of middle there by Marshall Warren. Here comes Michigan, an odd man chance. Rutger McGroarty, pass is broken up again. It sticks and bodies, and North Dakota just seems to be in a lot of passing lanes.
Well, and not only that, the gap has been really good. So McGroarty and Brindley have been hitting the blue line. They're used to seeing some, well, hollow coverage, and they have not seen that at all in this game. The defense up tight on them.
Rink wide for Josh Ernessy. It's the breaks. Ernessy, the backhand that goes behind a diving Frank Nazer. Here comes North Dakota and Blake, and he takes a big hit. Seamus Casey, a terrific play. Casey now on the rush. Centers. Nazer, a shot that goes off the glove and wide of the goaltender Ludwig Persson.
Nazer had some space there on the short side that he was trying to elevate to.
Final minute of this first period.
Yeah, first shot Pearson's had in some 10 minutes.
Through center. Dylan Duke for Michigan. Duke, wrist shot, high and wide. Marshall Warren, and then turns it over in North Dakota deep in their own end with Owen McLaughlin. And chipped up the wall, but held in by Michigan. Chase Pletzky, centering pass. Now one's redirected wide, looking to connect with TJ Hughes. Another stick goes flying, and chasing after it, Jacob Truscott for Michigan. Final 30 seconds of this opening period. And that'll be another icing. That's been like 5 or 6 icings against Michigan in the first period.
Duke just has to make some sort of contact with that puck to negate it. This has been a physical affair. And well, how about Casey right here stepping up? 2 dynamic players going shoulder to shoulder there. And Casey transitions with speed in this one. 6'3", 217 pounds of angry Hunter Johannes.
Face-off win by the Wolverines. Dylan Duke. Fans on a headman feed. And then a whistle, and they blow it dead with 21.2 to go here in this first period. The Frozen Four is headed to St. Paul. Action begins Thursday, April 11th. Live on ESPN2. For more information on the 2024 NCAA Frozen Four, go to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Played in by North Dakota. They've had a strong first 20 minutes here in Maryland Heights, Missouri. Along the wall, Prescott ahead. And out of the zone, that should do it for period 1. And slapped the other way by Garrett Shifsky. But if you're Brad Berry in North Dakota, you have to be thrilled with the first 20 minutes.
You have to be thrilled with the result, but I'm going to use his words again. Liked his process, liked his energy, and those are big things for coaches.
1-0. North Dakota leads Michigan through 20 minutes. Now we go to the studio. Arda Ocal and Andrew Raycroft.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. You saw the graphic, what Michigan's record is when trailing after the first period. North Dakota are 22-6-1. When scoring first this season, they did exactly that. Hunter Johannes, how have they looked to you in the first period?
They've looked bigger and stronger. They've been able to shut down the offense of Michigan, out-shooting them just 7-4. Michigan had the short power play. They ended up taking a penalty on that. But it looks like North Dakota has gotten to their game much earlier than Michigan has at this point.
Andrew Raycroft. Arda Ocal. And we were talking a little bit, you mentioned it earlier about how North Dakota is a very large team, Michigan comparatively smaller, but they don't seem intimidated by that, do Michigan, to their credit?
No, they haven't been. They've been able to continue to skate. They've been hit and they've fought through it and skated through it. But they have to get to the middle of the ice much more than that. You're not going to win games in this tournament by getting 4 shots on net a period. So they've got to find a way to get to the inside and get some more quality opportunities. All
right. So it's 1-0 here. We already have the winner, obviously, of who these two teams will face. We'll take a look at some highlights from the first period here, Michigan and North Dakota. That's the goal.
Yeah, Hunter Johannes, what a goal. 6'3", 217. The guys were just talking about him leveling Casey down at the end. He's a monster out there, and he has imposed his will in that first period, and a great shot over the glove.
Hunter Johannes with us from ice level, and he's got the only goal so far. Take us through the first 20 minutes, Hunter. What have you liked about your team's game?
I think we're advancing lines. That's a big thing, getting it deep behind them. They don't want to play when we're playing fast and physical, so I think we're doing a good job of it.
With Ben Clymer, Roxy Bernstein with you. All right, Hunter Johannes said it, stirring the pot a little bit. What do you think of his comments?
Well, A, he's correct. But B, I don't want 218 pounds bearing down on me either, but that is a good recipe for the likes of Casey, who he had a tremendously big hit on, and others. They need to continue to be physical. However, they have to make sure they stay out of that penalty box. That would be a catastrophic error.
So the first 20 minutes controlled by North Dakota. What needs to change for Michigan here in the second?
Well, I think they need to use the neutral zone to their advantage. Now on the opposite side, North Dakota's done a good job with their gap, making it very difficult for them to build the speed through the neutral zone that they're accustomed to. You give them space, the likes of Brindley and McGroarty will make you pay.
Good chance for Michigan. The Wolverines hold it in, and the stick breaks on Jacob Prescott. And just spills over the blue line and fired right back in by Marshall Warren for Michigan. Well, the Wolverines now with 4 shots for the game, and a team that averages over 35 a contest. Long lead pass, trying to run it down. Ben Strinden gets there for North Dakota, and a good defensive play by Ethan Edwards for Michigan. The Wolverines move through center. Nick Moldenhauer plays it around. Along the wall, not free. Dug out by Michigan. At the point, it's Edwards, and it pops over his stick and out of the zone. Good bounce for North Dakota and sent right back in by Luca Fantilli. Jackson Blake, and he fans on a pass and a turnaround shot off the loose puck from TJ Hughes, and squeezing the pads was Ludwig Persson.
Yeah, Jackson Blake put in a difficult situation there as he was going south when, well, his coach wanted and liked his team going north, meaning exiting his defensive zone. A little bit of a mix-up and a miscue here caused a D-to-D to be shuffled up the wall, and that's what put Blake in that difficult position. A nice save by Pearson.
Face off in the Fighting Hawks zone. Ludwig Persson was the 6th active goaltender in wins. And a shot that whistles wide from Stephen Holtz at the point. Laid down low. Here's Holtz, front of the Michigan bench. Cycles it. Trying to look for a cutting Frank Nazer, and the pass broken up. A lot of sticks in passing lanes from North Dakota. Loose puck, score! Down low, and a lucky bounce for Michigan. Frank Nazer, the third, ties it for the Wolverines.
Michigan with a tremendous job on the blue line, making things happen out of nothing. A backhand dump into traffic creates an awkward rebound that Nazer jumps on to tie things up there. Holtz with that play, 6'4", 200-pound, big snarly defenseman lofts it in, and Nazer cashes in.
15th goal this season for the sophomore. Honorable mention all Big Ten. 1-1 early in the second as the equalizer for the Michigan Wolverines.
Warren not happy with the official calling icing on the play, feeling like he extended his stick across the line. As you look at Nazer, a guy who dealt with pretty significant injury during his freshman year, a first-round pick of the Chicago Blackhawks. If I looked at a player on this Michigan team and said, okay, which one has another level that he can get to? Nazer's one, which is scary because he's already incredibly effective.
Taken 13th overall a couple of years ago by Chicago.
Chicago's got a glut of good young players. Oliver Moore from Minnesota, another one who's incredibly offensively gifted.
You went to him first and not Bedard?
Well, that one is already happening. We're going future, not present.
Okay. Turnaround shot that's blocked off the stick of Garrett Shifsky.
Sam Renzel from Minnesota, first-round draft pick as well, has had an incredible freshman season.
Owen McLaughlin blocks a shot for North Dakota. And the block shot master of the Fighting Hawks there, Bennett Smolik, plays it across. Tipped in by Blake and steered over Marshall Warren for Michigan. As the Wolverines look to move up ice. Through center. Keenan Draper.
Just bum rushes over Gaber there. Draper's 6'2", looking like 6'5".
Going wide, Reese Gaber. Centering pass goes through. The backhand down low from Louis Jamernick V. Reese Gaber's pass broken up. Here comes Draper for Michigan. Draper through center to the wing for LaPointe. Backhanded by Chase Putski for the Wolverines. Trying to center it. Trying to connect with Nick Moldenhauer, but taken away by North Dakota.
Yeah, really impressive pursuit there by Moldenhauer to stymie that exit of the Fighting Hawks.
Reese Gaber on a backhand across the ice. Tipped down where Stephen Holtz goes to get it for Michigan. Keaton Pearson ahead for the Fighting Hawks. Pearson. Good stick work around the blue line and poked off the stick of Jaden Perron. But North Dakota enters and gloved and held on to by Jake Barchevsky. Tomorrow's featured ESPN Plus NHL matchups. The Wild and the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas in the 8th spot right now in the Western Conference, 3:30 Eastern. Then at 7, Austin Matthews and the Leafs. And Matthews' quest for 70 goals in Buffalo. take on the Sabres.
Well, once again, after the whistle, we had Hunter Johannes in making friends. Trying to stir the pot here, keep things from going the Wolverines' direction.
Abram Weed plays it ahead. North Dakota struck first. Hunter Johannes, and it was a 1-0 lead after one, but Michigan tying it early in the second. Frank Nazer the third. His 15th goal of the year. And Nazer sends it in for Michigan. Whips around. Carson Albrecht tries to play it behind his own net. Good forecheck from Nazer. Aiden Perron. Through center. Bird and the shot and a kick save by Barcheski off Logan Britt. Here comes Michigan countering with Rutger McGroarty. He's across the line. McGroarty and squeezing the right hand into his chest to hang on.
Yeah, that elbow area there, just trying to do its best to Velcro in to hold that puck. North Dakota went in a rush, and there was a bit of extracurricular that I was watching the official on here as they slice their way through. And as this puck gets on the stick of Logan Britt right here, he hits the defender up high with his top hand. Just, those are the plays. You know, do it in November, who cares? February, yeah, things are a little bit more consequential. But this time of year, you just have to be so delicate with your discipline. Like, for what benefit is what I would ask if I was a member of the coaching staff.
And now, going to the ice, Gavin Brindley takes exception with Dylan James. But Michigan, they had 4 shots the entire first period. They already have 5 in the first 4:47 of the second.
Well, Coach Dorado certainly tore a stripe off them.
Yeah.
And let him know his opinion of their level of compete potentially. But I'll give him a little credit. I think they played harder than likely their coach, you know, made them feel like really wanting to undress them, as Coach Dorado is having a discussion with the official down at ice level.
Seems also Michigan has turned up some of their physicality here in the second period.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. And I'll always go back to kind of call them the big 3 of the defense for Michigan: Warren, Truscott, Holtz.
In the corner, Gavin Brindley for the Wolverines. At the point, played down low by Marshall Warren. Behind the net, Bennett Smolik digs it out and spins away from traffic for North Dakota. Leads it up the wing. Leo Jamernick V. Louis Jamernick sends it around. Chipped out by Draper. And Smolik skates after it for North Dakota. Plays it across. Pearson up ice. 5.5 gone by here in the second. Tied at 1. Driving the net, Blake, a shot and a save by Barcheski, but a great chance for Jackson Blake, and again some physicalities after the whistle.
Well, Jackson Blake makes a 5-foot pass and then gets into an area. An unbelievable just read to be able to create that offensive opportunity after he dumps this play into the corner. That's where you score goals, and Jackson Blake has done that in spades.
Here's the big defenseman, Stephen Holtz. He has an assist tonight for Michigan, and Stephen Holtz is lucky to be here today. And about 1.5 years ago, he was hospitalized, induced into a coma, medically induced coma, and finally is determined he was suffering, and he nearly died from an adenovirus. And luckily for him, his teammate Jacob Truscott got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, heard him really laboring to breathe and struggling, called 911, and they rushed him to the hospital, and they intubate him, and amazingly, he is here with us today, because if that doesn't happen in the middle of the night, who knows what would have happened to Stephen Holtz.
Yeah, an unbelievable story, and how hard he had to work to get back and to regain his abilities. But yeah, tomorrow was not promised to him at that point, and awfully lucky to have Truscott get up in the middle of the night at that time he did.
And there's still some things that he doesn't remember. in the neutral zone and played in by Keaton Pearson of North Dakota. And he was coming back around the rink. He had no recollection of who the freshmen were. Like, it was still spotty. He had no realization that Brandon Naurato was the head coach at the time. I was talking to him about it yesterday, and it really is remarkable what he went through and made it back on the ice as quickly as he did, as Hunter Johannes delivers a hit to the captain, Truscott.
Great to have him back. And the whole hockey world is thankful for his well-being.
And a shot with the netminder Marcheski sliding. That goes wide from Cameron Bird. 3-on-2 developing for Michigan. Back the other way. And fanning on a shot, Dylan Duke on the left wing. And here comes North Dakota and Logan Britt. Across the line, Griffin Ness. Michigan controls. Good edge work. Move up ice. Ethan Edwards driving, and Edwards' shot goes off a skate into the corner.
He just runs Logan Britt over.
Laid in by Ness for Nodak. Leaving it for Fantilli. Luca Fantilli. Banks it ahead. Bouncing puck, taking control is North Dakota. Ben Strinden. And here is Michigan control. Marcus Stapu also assisted with Holtz on the Michigan goal by Frank Nazer III. And it's Smolik ahead. And pass broken up. Here comes North Dakota. Louis Jamernick V. Reese Gaber goes behind the net. And the puck taken by Stephen Holtz, and he banks it out for Michigan. Jake Livanovich, freshman from Phoenix. And coming in offside, Reese Gaber to face off outside the Michigan blue line. 11:55 to go in the second, and a 1-1 score. And look, we thought we were going to get a lot of offense. Hasn't necessarily materialized just yet.
Well, there's been the effort, but the defense, I think, had played better than the pundits would have anticipated. I look on the Nodak side, Logan Britt, they've been pretty solid. Livanovich, I knew he was going to be good. How about the puck-eating nature of Bennett Zamolik? Some of his teammates think he's a little wacko with how many times he's stepping in harm's way.
And how much rubber he eats.
That said, son of a former player.
He plays a lot like his dad used to play. As a bounce, score, and North Dakota takes the lead. The tip from Jackson Blake, 2-1, North Dakota.
Well, Jackson Blake doesn't need a lot of room, and, well, he had just enough here as this puck is corralled and sent down towards the goal by Pearson. Blake right in front of the net, then bursting through center to celebrate with oh so many North Dakota fans.
2-1 Fighting Hawks. Blake's 22nd. He has an 11-game point streak for the NCHC Player of the Year. And the former Wolverine, Keaton Pearson, with an assist to help put North Dakota back on top.
And over a 20-point lead on the next highest scorer on his team. That's just hard to do. I mean, even look at Connor McDavid in the NHL. His Draisaitl's, nearly neck and neck. He's within shouting distance.
Blake, a fourth-round draft pick by the Hurricanes in 2021. Loose puck, and unable to control it, Reese Gaber. Here comes Michigan with some speed through center. Driving, Gavin Brindley goes behind the net, trying to bank it out front. Loose, rolls out near the blue line. Controlled by Michigan. Here comes Warren. His shot is blocked. And it's tipped ahead by Reese Gaber, but held in by Michigan. And now it's out of the zone. And here comes Gaber, breaking in. Gaber from the wing, and a good job defensively with the stick from Marshall Warren of Michigan. Keaton Pearson. Long pass up the ice for Gaber. Takes the body. from Ethan Edwards. And a shot that goes high and wide from Cameron Berg.
That quick transition left the Michigan defense on the ice. Long change this period. They wanted to get off, but were unable to do so because of Gaber posting up on the far blue line. Now Gaber has left, shifted on a fresh set of legs offensively for North Dakota.
Saved by Barczewski. TJ Hughes taps it ahead. Nick Moldenhauer for the Wolverines. Lays it around. Dylan Duke to the wing. Frank Nazar's got the goal for Michigan. Now Edwards a shot that gets through finally, but it's whistled down. And then some pushing between Keith Pearson and Dylan Duke. Tomorrow's women's basketball Sweet 16 starts on ABC. Angel Reese and LSU take on UCLA at 1 Eastern. 10 Pacific, followed by Caitlin Clark and Iowa against Colorado. Then over on ESPN, Baylor against freshman phenom Juju Watkins and USC. We cap the day with Paige Beckers and UConn against Duke. All 4 games available on the ESPN app. 2-1 North Dakota, almost the midway point of period 2. Michigan looking for the re-entry, but this will be icing against the Wolverines.
Commonality we saw in the first period continuing in the second. Tried to stretch that pass up to Nazar. North Dakota will change. Obviously coming right back with the Blake unit.
So Blake's goal from Pearson and Owen McLaughlin. And a 2-1 lead for Nodak. Midway through the second. Into the zone. Jackson Kuntz for North Dakota. Owen McLaughlin in the corner, and a centering attempt is broken up defensively by Michigan. A shot from the blue line gets through and fought off by Barczewski over to the corner. Here is Jackson Blake dancing down the wing. Michigan looking to move out, and Smolik comes up to knock the puck away from Josh Ernessy.
Ernessey's on an absolute mission this shift. Elbowed a defender on his way off the ice after a very combative 45 seconds plus.
Taking it to his blade. Here comes Frank Nazar, the third for Michigan. And he gets rolled up by Jake Schmaltz. Now intercepted, but pass behind Philip LaPointe. And exiting the zone is North Dakota. Michigan looking to play it right back in. At a midair, knocked down Chase Pletsky from the wing. And a shot that goes wide. Held in at a backhand at the line by Tyler Duke. Coming away with the puck. Keaton Pearson for North Dakota. Here's Schmaltz. Then Strinden lost his footing, and now Michigan takes control behind their own net.
Both benches are like oscillating back and forth. Who's the most upset with the non-calls going either way? Easy to say at this point, the officials are going to let them play.
And nobody's sitting on either bench.
No.
Not even the backup goaltenders. Played in low by Garrett Shifsky for Michigan.
Shifsky, a real overachiever this year for the Wolverines. Started a third, fourth line role and has just doggedly worked his way up. Now riding shotgun with 2 of the best players in college hockey, McGroarty and Brindley.
And a turnover taken away. Reese Gaber to the point to Smolik at the line, looking for an angle. And that one hits a body and goes to the corner. Pinching in. Abram Weed, the BC native. And North Dakota can't keep the zone. And Michigan comes in offside.
A nice job by Zamolik fighting there to try to create an offside opportunity. Coach Naranjo will try to find a way to get back into this one as they trail the Fighting Hawks by 1.
Of Michigan joining us, and what have you seen in the second, Brandon, that's taking your game back to what you normally do?
Yeah, I think we just got to get late pucks in and feed the forecheck and then feed the O zone. A lot of play in the neutral zone, and we got to start getting more pucks behind them.
Well, the neutral zone specifically, what have you thought that the Fighting Hawks have done to combat the speed that you guys have so often?
No, they're doing a good job in the neutral zone, just being above, being physical. So we just got to fight through it and win our race and battles.
Coach, thanks for the time. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Michigan wins the draw and plays it in. Brandon Naranjo joining us. Second season as the head coach at Michigan. Former Wolverine. Played in the minors for a while. And here comes Michigan looking to break out, but eludes speedy TJ Hughes. And talking to Brandon Naranjo yesterday, he thinks that Hughes is a guy that a lot of teams overlook, and he's kind of the unsung hero of this Michigan team.
Well, ironic too, because most people see Hughes and they think he has a different mom and dad. Yes. The
not
famous,
not yes. The same family.
Yes.
No,
Jim Hughes being that father. Yeah, an awfully impactful player. You know, I give a nod as well to Ethan Edwards, a defenseman who I think gets overlooked for the Wolverines. We've seen a few flashes of some brilliance in this game, but his contributions are largely unnoticed.
Owen McLaughlin and a save by Barczewski that goes up into the netting.
Barczewski seemingly has been left quiet here for some period of time as McLaughlin gets a feed from Blake, spinning on the wall there, draws not one but two players. That creates an odd man opportunity that McLaughlin brings into that slot area.
And this is, look, a North Dakota team. 26 wins this year. And it's funny when you look at how their schedule laid out. North Dakota is 1-8, a combined 1-8 against Colorado College and Omaha. They are 25-3-2 against everybody else, including a home sweep of Denver. And North Dakota has not lost to a team other than Colorado College or Omaha since early December, when they lost in overtime at Denver.
So would that be a rare situation where maybe Coach Barry would call Coach Motzko and say, hey, thanks for clipping Omaha yesterday? Probably not, but.
And the puck taken away by Michigan. And the last time they lost in regulation is somebody other than Omaha or Colorado College. You have to go back to a game in early November at Boston College, November 3rd. Entry for Michigan. Here's McGroarty. He knocks it down with the glove. Good stick work by Bennett Smolek to knock down the pass. Behind the net. Keenan Draper to the point. Moving in. Holtz. Tyler Duke. And a shot is blocked. The stick of Dylan James for North Dakota. Here's Blake.
Small but impactful stick there by Holtz. Stopped Blake's offensive opportunity.
Stephen Holtz leads it. Tyler Duke into the zone. Approaching 5 minutes to go in the second. 2-1 North Dakota. The go-ahead goal from Jackson Blake. Leading scorer for this Fighting Hawks team, a wicket carom. And a lucky bounce, though, for North Dakota that TJ Hughes could not get to it. Owen McLaughlin with some speed to the neutral zone and a steal. Takeaway. Garrett Shifsky moving in. Shifsky with a wrist shot and holding on and covering up is Ludwig Persson. And now some physicality again between North Dakota and Michigan as Bennett Smolek takes exception with the snow shower to his netminder.
Just have to be careful. Discipline paramount right here as McLaughlin dices his way through, and a turnover creates an opportunity for Michigan.
Welcome back. Razor Narda here with you for a second. So Michigan ties it up, but then what a tip by Jackson Blake.
Great tip, great skill, great hand-eye coordination by the Hobey Baker finalist, and a really nice job to get North Dakota back on top.
We're going to talk all about the second period, and then we will dive into highlights from the rest of the day, including some overtime thrillers for the rest of the period. Back to Roxy.
All right, Arda, catch up with you and Razor at the intermission. But Jackson Blake, the go-ahead goal is 22nd of the year.
Just a great tip there, hand-eye coordination, not afraid to go into traffic. Get some extra points amongst kids there with that celebration straight through center. Probably drawing a little ire of the Wolverines in the process.
So Hobey Baker finalist, of course, his dad Jason played in North Dakota. 13 years in the NHL. Jason Blake with the Kings, the Islanders, Leafs, Ducks, and won the Masterson Trophy in 2008 after overcoming cancer in a battle against leukemia. And here comes North Dakota through center. Cameron Bird going wide. Bird in a backhand through the slot. And the net comes off the moorings and crashing into Barcheski and taking exception.
And again, it's just Johannes is everywhere in the scrums. But the difference between him and some of the other players, he's doing it legally. And after the whistle, he's not, punching somebody back and away. He's just playing straight up hard hockey here. Could he probably avoided the goaltender? Yes. Did he have to? Was he egregious with the way he went in the goal crease? Absolutely not. Then he had a number of players come over to him, Duke being one of them, and give him a little shot. And more often than not, it's that little shot that gets the penalty. It's not the first play. That concerns me if I'm a Wolverine fan.
And he was tied up with Marshall Warren going into Jake Barcheski.
That's two big men going into Jake Barcheski.
And a shot blocked as Keaton Pearson shot from the point off the shin pads of Dylan Duke. And a nice save by Barcheski. And a flip out of the zone by Dylan Duke.
Seen right there, Truscott just cross-checked Johannes behind the play. For what purpose? At some point, someone's going to get rung up for it, and it's going to be a power play for North Dakota.
Here comes Michigan. Through center, Gavin Brindley for the Wolverines. Dangles it over to Frank Nazar III. Nazar circles behind the net. To the point to Edwards, playing it across Fantilli. Luca Fantilli in a shot that whistles wide.
I think he was trying to find a deflection of Nazar coming to the net just a touch late.
Ethan Edwards held up along the wall. Inside 3.5 to go in the second. 2-1 North Dakota. Jamernick and a pass to the slot. It goes behind Dylan James, and here comes Michigan. Back the other way. McGroarty, shot and a save swallowed up by Ludwig Persson.
First time Persons had to be sharp as he sealed off the blocker side. Rutger McGroarty, 52 points in the regular season. Is look at that, puck pulled out of the net guard.
Ludwig Persson, who hasn't been in there in about a month, missed the last 3 games for North Dakota, and it appears his timing isn't off, even though he missed an extensive period of time.
He looks just fine. I mean, certainly if he was fighting some sort of ailment, he looks better for the time off. Wise choice by Coach Barry.
Native of Sweden, 3 years at Miami. And a face-off won by North Dakota. And played out of the zone by Abram Wiebe. Tyler Duke for Michigan. Taking it center by the former Wolverine, Keaton Pearson. Arkestapa lays it up the wall. Stephen Holtz at the point. Cycles it low. Stepping in is Pearson for North Dakota. And it skips off the stick of Holtz. Here comes Albrecht for North Dakota. Shot and a kick save by Jake Barcheski.
A wobbling puck there that Barcheski had to be mindful of.
And it's Smolik. Leaves it in the corner for Jake Livanovich. Played all the way down. This one goes an icing against North Dakota, despite the speed from Ben Strinden to get there.
And I think, they're just in their uproar over that call. Strinden certainly had a step on it from my vantage point. The refs standing pat. I was wondering if they might go to center with that.
And wave off the icing?
Yeah. Take a look, and he'd be the judge here. Is I think just enough there with Strinden's stick being able to make contact with that puck as it was coming around from the left wall. Would have been enough for me to call off the icing.
Jacob Trescott up the wing. Gavin Brindley into the zone. Brindley dangles in the corner. Rutger McGraty. Over to the corner and backhanded by Marshall Warren. McLaughlin, the backhand, and Jackson Blake tips it out, but a steal. Here comes Jackson Kuntz driving. Kuntz! And the puck left right there and covered by Barczewski.
I thought Kuntz was going to bear down on Barczewski there and make contact. Wise that he didn't. An opportunity with that puck again bouncing. He wasn't able to corral it, get it flat in order to collect and shoot. Watch how this unfolds as Blake just really hammers this puck up the wall, and then a turnover. Warren in a good position there, but Kuntz will be regretful to be unable to get an offensive shot out of an opportunity. A Vancouver draft pick.
Face-off win for North Dakota, but now Michigan controls the puck. Sent rink wide. Tipped ahead. Here it's Shifsky. But North Dakota lofts it out toward the other end of the ice. Circling back to get it. Ethan Edwards for Michigan. Behind his own net. Luca Fantilli. Now Garrett Shifsky leads across the line. Dylan Duke. Shifsky is shot. Loose on the rebound. And unable to keep it in, just eludes the reaching Ethan Edwards.
Yeah, elite puck movement there by the Wolverines. Ending in a shot by Duke.
Here is Fantilli, the center line. Over to TJ Hughes. Chops it in. One back to get it. Abram Weed for North Dakota. Good job pinching in by Tyler Duke. Final minute of the second period. And a one-goal lead for the Fighting Hawks. A big person. Here is Tyler Duke for Michigan. And he rams it in. Pinballs around. Keenan Draper. Josh Ernest goes after it. Ernest over the wing. At the point, Stephen Holtz moving down, looking for a tip in front from Draper. Tyler Duke at the line. Over to Holtz. Holtz looking for another redirection and covering up, and the puck was still loose as the officials lost sight. Ludwig Persson did have it momentarily.
Had it momentarily. Ernest and friends were in around the goal. Let's take a look back at the puck movement of the Wolverines that created the zone entry, that then all of a sudden they hem the Fighting Hawks in here. Fantilli spreads and they go east-west again, like that Duke pass out to Shifsky, who released that puck. And that traffic is something that so often Michigan's been able to gather a rebound and stuff it in the net, but just has not been available in this game. Great job by the Fighting Hawk defense.
Off the face-off, turnaround shot blocked from Rutger McGraty. 15 seconds left in the period. Knocked down the line by Brindley. Over the opposite corner, McGraty there. Nazer looking in the slot. Here is Edwards at the point. Edwards and a blocker save by Persson. And that should just about do it for the second period. And it's 2-1 North Dakota as we head to the third. And Jackson Blake's goal's the difference right now. 2-1 Nodak. After two, it's been physical, there's been speed, and it's been tight. And it's going to set up for a great third period here in Maryland Heights. Down to the studio to Arda and Andrew Raycroft.
Roxy, thank you very much. Yeah, 20-0 sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
It sounds like that is a pretty solid confidence boost if you're leading after two periods for North Dakota. The Michigan Wolverines did score first in this period. Frank Nazar the third. He's a Hawks pick, 17th of the season, the sixth Michigan player with 40 points on the campaign. Andrew Raycroft, Arda Ocal, but really, Jackson Blake, great play in front of the net to take the lead.
It was a great play, and North Dakota, Michigan was battling back. They outshoot North Dakota in that second period, 11-10. They got to their game a little bit better, but it was this goal by Jackson Blake and a great point shot by Keaton Persson, who was at Michigan for 4 years, getting back with his old teammates. Jackson Blake showing off the skill that he has out in front of the net.
How impressed were you with North Dakota this period?
really impressed because of the physicality that they're showing. The hits, the little scrums after each whistle. They're really getting underneath Michigan's skin and using their size to their advantage.
All right, why don't we show you some highlights. Michigan.
Period. Maryland Heights, Missouri, the regional. And the winner advances to the regional final to take on Michigan State here on Sunday night. With everything on the line, you expect it to be physical. You expect it to be chippy. It's been that way all night between these two storied programs. And North Dakota carries a 2-1 lead to the third period against the Michigan Wolverines. Along with Ben Clymer and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. It hasn't necessarily lived up to the offensive hype, but it's been physical between these two teams.
The intensity hype has been there. The will to win has been displayed. And that edge of the physical nature of this game has been, we've hit the edge. We have not crossed it, which is great. However, I'm not so certain we could go another 20 minutes without a power play going one of the team's direction. Obviously, Michigan would really like that opportunity to get back in this game. We'll see if the Fighting Hawks discipline can negate that.
Louis Jamernick, the fifth in the zone for North Dakota. And the puck goes behind the net. Trying to skate his way out is Frank Nazer, the third for Michigan, who's their goal scorer. It was 1-0 early North Dakota on a goal by Hunter Johannes. Then Michigan tied it. The Wolverines come in offside, and it was Jackson Blake's redirection about midway through the second that right now is the difference in this game.
Yeah, great deflection going into harm's way. Michigan's Nazer offside, made contact with North Dakota's Britt, who, well, he didn't stop him, may have helped him cross that blue line before the puck. Physicalities, well, that will be a consistent for the next 19 minutes and change.
Rifled in by Ethan Edwards of Michigan. Shot 17-15 in favor of the Fighting Hawks. And North Dakota moving up ice. Jackson Kuntz had it taken away with some speed, the strides, and fanning on a wrist shot that flutters in, and a score for Michigan to tie the game. The changeup fooled North Dakota, kept alive, and we're 2-2 early in the third. A break for Michigan.
A huge break and good fortune for Michigan because Jackson Blake feverishly back checks this puck, and in doing so licks the stick up of Duke. That causes the puck to go in. Slow, and then it tips in right there as you see Shifsky start the celebration. Not certain if it went off him, off the defender, who it was, but nonetheless, we are tied up with Shifsky's 17th of the season. Didn't take long after Coach Naranjo's talking to for the Wolverines to pounce.
Both Garrett Shifsky's parents are North Dakota grads, and he scores a goal to tie the game against North Dakota early in the third for Michigan. Nick Moldenhauer into the zone. Josh Ernest comes out of the corner. Ernest to the right point, and a shot that's kicked out by Person. And Moldenhauer jumps on it for Michigan. But now here comes Nodak. And loose puck in the neutral zone and slammed in by Nick Moldenhauer as Michigan changing. 2-2. The equalizer early here in the third from the Wolverines. Erson Albrecht plays it in, and coming out to play it is Jake Barczewski. And a whistle and a stoppage of play, but a couple more looks at the Michigan tie.
Watch the effort of Blake as he pursues Duke. Lifts it right there, lifts the stick, and that causes it to go in slow. I think that may go in off Pearson. Yeah, that's a North Dakota foot coming in that goal crease. Going by, not to be confused with Person.
But the former Wolverine, Keaton Pearson's skate may have knocked it in. But the goal credited to Garrett Shifsky from Duke. And got to be straight with the Dukes. It's Dylan Duke the assist. 2-2, 2 minutes into the third. The winner gets Michigan State on Sunday night. Scampering after the puck, and it's icing against North Dakota's Luca Fantilli at the inside track.
Dorado had really loaded up a line there. He threw Mazur between Brindley and McGroarty to put all his eggs in one basket for a brief push again after that goal.
E.J. Hughes wins the draw for Michigan. And a shot that's blocked from Tyler Duke, loose. And it's Hughes in the corner. Out of the line to Duke. Tyler Duke skates to the right point. And a loose puck in front, picked up, score! T.J. Hughes, and Michigan takes the lead. For T.J. Hughes, the native of Hamilton, Ontario. And for the first time tonight, the Wolverines are in front.
Well, they do what good teams do. That's bring the puck to the net and try to fight for those rebounds, something that they were unable to do so in the first couple of periods there. Hughes collects off a rebound that Shifsky pounds towards Person. And all of a sudden, this game has an entirely different look and feel. 2 goals in a minute 33. Shifsky at 19:10. Hughes at 17:37. Momentum has followed. See Coach Barry along with Carl Gehring to your right. Dane Jackson to your left.
2 goals in 1:33, so the tying goal from Shifsky at 50 seconds of the third, and now the go-ahead goal at 2:23 from T.J. Hughes.
Just love walking the line there, and Shifsky battling in front of the net. Hughes just slipping down the weak side, collecting that rebound. Nothing Person could have done at this point. Now, if I'm Coach Brad Berry, there's one person in particular I'm walking over, I'm tapping on the shoulder, and he has number 28 on his back. That's Hunter Johannes, the guy who's been the thorn in the side, the guy who's brought a physical presence that could possibly change some of this momentum. I think this would be a great opportunity for him to do so. And do so legally, I might add.
Behind the net, Mark Estapa for Michigan. To the point, and a blast that goes wide.
Person didn't see that puck.
Jacob Truscott hit the back wall. Ernest plays it low. Draper trying to center it. Loose in the slot, picked up, and a shot that gets blocked off the stick of Marshall Warren. And North Dakota finally exits the zone. Good pressure from Michigan. What a start to the third for the Wolverines.
It's like the ice has just been tipped the direction of Person's goal, with Michigan having so much jump in their step.
Bouncing puck, and an icing call against North Dakota.
When you talk about really what we're looking at game number 1 from the Broncos, it was all about pressure and offensive zone time, cycling, bringing the puck to that, really scoring goals. Physicality. That's not Michigan's MO. And really, Johannes made mention of that during his interview. However, going to the net, banging on rebounds is something they've been very opportunistic of all season long. Yes, they're extremely talented, but they are not shy in their pursuit of goals. As you see Brindley one-time that one in on Pearson.
How about the skill, though, of that one-timer? Because that puck was a little elevated there for Brindley. It wasn't like it was a smooth sauce pass along the ice.
I mean, I say this kind of, he reminds me of Marty St. Louis. Now, at 5'9", he's a giant compared to Marty St. Louis.
They Face-off win for Michigan. At the point, and kicked aside by Ludwig Persson off Ethan Edwards. In the corner, Michigan's really got some jump here in the third. Luca Fantilli at the line. And a puck played down low by Frank Nazar.
And again, Naurato going with Nazar, Brindley, and McGroarty. Just the super line, I'll call them. It's not a first line, it's an all-star line.
And the pressure from Michigan and floated out by Dylan James. Ethan Edwards moves in. Loose puck picked up, Gavin Brindley. Brindley, and that one is blocked by Smolik and never got through to the netminder Persson. Pick saving and beauty by Bennett.
Yeah, no doubt. Quick transition again here on a short rink for the Wolverines. North Dakota has to find some way to exit their zone, gain speed in the neutral zone.
Third period shots, 9-0 Michigan. High and wide. Bounces right toward the slot as the original shot from Ben Strinden. Here comes Michigan, and Garrett Shifsky's got 2 points tonight. Jake Schmaltz squeezed out along the wall by TJ Hughes. And that puck skips all the way through. Was not touched, and an icing call against Michigan.
I believe that deflected on the defensive side for the Wolverines when it made its deflection. Wow, McLaughlin's already in the face-off circle ready. He's thinking, okay, guys, I'm out. Got an offensive zone draw. I got Jackson Blake on my left. Drop this thing. Let's get it going. I know I can get our team back knotted up. McLaughlin goes for what's gaining a little momentum in college hockey. It's a face-off draw where you drop one knee and spin. And you can create a tremendous amount of leverage. I've seen him do it a couple of times.
Tipped into the zone by Josh Ernessy. And steered over by Ludwig Persson. McLaughlin along the wall. And coming over to put the body on Jackson Kuntz was Keenan Draper.
Look at that cycle in neutral zone. Just quick transition.
Michigan seems to have found their game here in the third. At the line. Marshall Warren blocked in front. Didn't get through. And at the line trying to poke it out, but Michigan holds it in. Jacob Truscott. And a turnover, and here comes North Dakota, and McLaughlin leads it for Blake, just eludes his reach. And Jacob Truscott hustling back. Marcheski leads it behind his own net for Luca Fantilli. Gavin Brindley for Michigan. Weaving his way through. Gets it in deep, and it's Smolik to the corner. Frank Nazar steps in. At the line, Ethan Edwards trying to play it for Fantilli. That pass broken up by Jaden Perron. Back deep in his own end. Here comes Luca Fantilli for Michigan. Hitmans. Rutger McGroarty across the line. Goes off the leg of Nazar and trying to counter, but North Dakota can't connect on the pass.
Yeah, that pass that hit Nazar was actually intended for Brindley, who was on the low side of your television screen with a whole bit of speed.
And a wrist shot that goes high and wide from Garrett Shifsky. Holtz at the blue line. Holtz a wrist shot from way out there that flutters wide. And now North Dakota gets it out of the zone. But taken right back by TJ Hughes. Strides in Hughes. And a pass across that's broken up by the diving Smolik. And here comes North Dakota, and a backhand by James just bounces over the blue line. Inside 12:40 to go in the third. 2 goals for Michigan here in the third. They have the lead. And sent in by Mark Estapa. Logan Britt. James can't handle the pass from Jake Schmaltz. And here comes Michigan. Cross ice. Driving. Estapa. And it's gloved and held onto by Ludwig Persson.
Sharp snare there by Persson with Estapa pulling up and rifling that in on the goal. We're starting to create offense. Something we knew we have. Hughes creating it right here. And what a play by Smolik.
Michigan's come out buzzing here in the third. They're skating like the wind, completely dominating the first 7:44 of the third period.
Unbelievable statistic you see there with an unanswered donut for North Dakota. After Jackson Blake was, celebrating across center ice, you just figured, okay, all of a sudden they're going to really start to pull away and get a different period. The Wolverines coming out with confidence and with speed.
Dylan James, and he's rubbed out of the play by Marshall Warren along the wall.
Warren used his left hand there and tossed him down one-handed.
Logan Britt, and that one's swallowed up in the first shot of the third period.
And Britt's played a solid game, rough and tumble defenseman, but they got to keep making it difficult on these Wolverines and hope that Barczewski may get a little sloppy with his rebound control, as you see a couple of smaller players, but spirited. Gaber and Brindley go in, and that pass, had it not been stick to skate, would have been a significantly better scoring chance, as that battle within the war continued with Brindley and Gaber engaging again in front of Barczewski.
Face-off win for North Dakota. And a shot that gets blocked in front from Jake Livanovich. And played in by Dylan Duke for Michigan. DJ Hughes steers it around. Shifsky drives in from the goal line. Tried to flip it in on a backhand to the point. Here's Tyler Duke. Both teams being hard on the puck back there. And taking control is Jaden Perron. Leads it. Cameron Berg can't get to the puck, and spinning away is Tyler Duke. And flipped in from center by Garrett Shifsky. By the way, they've changed the scoring on the second goal. Shifsky originally given credit for it. Now the goal's credited to Dylan Duke, because the official scores here seeing it went off the skate of Keaton Pearson of North Dakota.
Confident move there by Fantilli, breaking up the play.
Teeing one up, and it gets blocked. Loose puck. Here is Fantilli for Michigan. And a shot that skips over the net.
Weave is hurting. He took one off the left foot.
Digging it out. Ernestine for Michigan. Over to Fantilli. Top of the circle. And a good defensive play by Jackson Blake. Oh, and a big hit as Fantilli went crashing into Jackson Kuntz. Knocked down by Nick Moldenhauer. Hustling back for it, Logan Britt for North Dakota. Has to go wide around Ernestine, who then gives him a rough ride. Deep in the Michigan end. Truscott now to center, where it's gloved down by Ben Strinden. And now Schmaltz along the wall. Midway through the third, 3-2 Michigan. Played in from center by Keenan Draper. Tied up by Philip Lapointe. And it comes out. And North Dakota moving up with Carson Albrecht, who's ridden into the wall by Marshall Warren. Frank Nazer going wide. Spins. Nazer takes the body from Louis Chamernick. At the point, Holtz plays it across. Tyler Duke into the corner. After McGroarty back up to the point. Across for Holtz. Holtz, shot tipped on net, and the stick save by Person. Nazer working behind the cage. And Nazer shoved off the puck by Louis Jamernick. And a puck goes out of play into the crowd. 9:07 to go. The physicality, it's been there all night. Now Michigan's found their offensive game in a 3-2 lead. With Ben Clymer and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. The Centene Community Ice Center in Maryland Heights, Missouri. And Michigan has dominated the third. The Wolverines have come out swinging. Look at the shot total in the third, and they scored 2 goals.
Incredible with how much they struggled in that first period to gain any sort of offensive pressure. They have found it and are executing mightily in this third period.
For 2 periods, Michigan had 15 shots. They have 14 here in the first 11+ minutes of the third. Rutger McGroarty for the Wolverines. Tries to go to the backhand, hits the trailer. Nazer can't handle it, and now countering, here comes North Dakota. Luca Fantilli gets on the puck, though, for the Wolverines. Ethan Edwards up the ice, across the line. Gavin Brindley dancing in the corner. Brindley backhand down low. Michigan changing, though, as North Dakota looking to break out. Jackson Kuntz up the ice. Grand Forks native Kuntz spins, cycles. Jackson Blake on the half wall. Lost the puck on a stick check, and now Michigan moving up ice. There it's Shifsky. And backhand across, score! Dylan Duke is second of the night. 4-2 Michigan.
Well, Dylan Duke finishes, but wow, was there some spectacular puck movement before that. Shifsky creates the initial contact, turns the puck over. They spread it east-west. Shifsky carrying the puck here, threads that one, and wow, what an incredible play by TJ Hughes to get that across. Shifsky with this little dump area pass, and on his backhand, Hughes finds Duke for a beauty of a goal.
23 now on the year for Dylan Duke. Taken by Tampa Bay in the 4th round back in 21.
It's one thing to execute that pass on your forehand that you saw from TJ Hughes, but on your backhand is extra special.
And a 2-goal lead for Michigan, approaching 7.5 to go. Held up at the line, and North Dakota comes in offside. So the goal from Duke, the assist TJ Hughes, Jared Shifsky, all 3 of those guys having 2-point games.
It's worth taking a second look at the backhand pass here by Hughes. He collects it with one hand, puts it through the Bermuda Triangle of the defender between the heel of the stick and the toes of the skates, right on the button.
That one goes up into the crowd. And face-off will come back into Michigan end with 7:19 remaining. It has just completely fallen off the rails for North Dakota here in the third. What can they do then to generate some offense?
I mean, they got to get back to their roots, which is all about speed. Coach Barry talked about how he had all 4 lines and 6 defensemen going. Right now, not going. Little too much watching for my opinion, or for my liking.
In danger of losing when leading heading into the third for the first time this season. And at the worst possible time. Jackson Blake tries to center it. Takes a big hit from Stephen Holtz. Centering, Smolik moving in, but just couldn't pull the trigger. Then it's Smolik that overskates it. And it squirts out of the zone as Jake Livanovich goes back to get it for the Fighting Hawks of North Dakota. Marshall Warren for Michigan. Across the line. Rutger McGroarty from the wing. Plays it around. And here comes Owen McLaughlin. Through center for North Dakota. McLaughlin, as Warren comes up and delivers a hit. Jacob Truscott.
Those were just plays that weren't happening in the first and the second period.
There's a chance. Hunter Johannes sent a shot that goes wide, trying to tuck it inside the far post.
What I mean by that is North Dakota was not turning the puck over. They were creating an offense. Now they're creating transition.
Held in by North Dakota. Wheeling around and turned aside by Jake Barczewski. Held in. Cameron Bird moving in, shot, and Barczewski covers. and holds on as the shot from Louis Jamernick V.
It just dumped Nazar out of nowhere there in that battle.
NCAA Frozen Four is headed to St. Paul. The action begins Thursday, April 11th, live on ESPN2. For more information on the 2024 Frozen Four, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. 5:50 remaining. And a 2-goal lead for Michigan. Face-off win for North Dakota, and a shot that gets blocked from Jackson Kuntz. And a center at 4, Jake Schmaltz. At the blue line, dancing, Keaton Pearson. Circles. Pearson moving in. Pearson a wrist shot. Driving toward the slot. Loose puck, score! Jackson Kuntz makes it a 1-goal game.
What an individual effort by Pearson, wheeling, dealing around the outside here. Heads up, finding his time, waiting for space, and then pouncing on a rebound is Kuntz there. As you see, outstretched Wolverines. Look at Pearson's eyes up, looking, evaluating, trying to find something. Ultimately calls his own number there. The rebound collected and deposited.
The Michigan player shaken up behind the play. That's Tyler Duke. Got driven into the boards. He's back up on his skates. 5:22 to go, and North Dakota's made it a 1-goal game.
Well, the drama continues, not just in this game. The other game was outstanding.
Overtime win for Michigan State. They trailed by 2 goals in the third.
Indeed.
North Dakota trying to respond. Michigan came out like a house on fire to start the third, and a pushback now from North Dakota. Approaching 5 minutes to play. The winner gets Michigan State Sunday night, the regional final, and trying to get to the Frozen Four. Reese Gaber along the wall, and a pass looking for a cutting. Jackson Blake. Now Bennett Smolik's pass is tipped into the corner. Captain Gaber takes a check from TJ Hughes. Owen McLaughlin. And plays it up the wall, but it goes all the way down, and Smolik goes to chase
Smolik's gassed right now. He was hoping to get a change.
Played in by Hunter Johannes. Now Luca Fantilli in a backhand. Kicked by Brindley. And taken away. Hunter Johannes, who has a goal tonight, and a save by Barchewski. This one goes all the way down. It'll come back to the Michigan end after an icing call.
All of a sudden, we're starting to look down and have the same question that we had in game number 1 as we first see a turnover and a shot by Johannes. It wasn't full steam because of the pursuit of Fantilli, but what I was talking about previously is the watch on Person. 4:11 left in this game. North Dakota down a goal. You asked me a couple hours ago, when do you pull them? I mean, the analytics say so much earlier that I'm personally comfortable with. Barry, an old school coach, maybe would go the old school direction and wait.
Golden opportunity in the backhand for Jackson Kuntz. Pressure from North Dakota. Keaton Pearson behind the net. Jake Schmaltz takes the hit from Ethan Edwards. Trying to get it in front. Plays it up to the point. Pearson across. The freshman Livanovich. In the corner. And held in. Keaton Pearson plays it to the middle. Owen McLaughlin dancing off to the left wing. Livanovich at the line. Skates the blue line. Livanovich moving in. North Dakota changing. A couple of guys behind the play. Livanovich taken out hard by Ethan Edwards. And now Michigan breaks out.
He was circling on his backhand. All of a sudden he looked up and there were all the players in green going to the bench. And he's thinking, where am I going to put this puck? And he got buried behind the net.
Here comes Jackson Blake through center. And it's taken away. Michigan back the other way. Josh Earnesty going wide. Earnesty pivots. Lays it low. Mark Estapa Along the wall. Held up by McLaughlin. Now North Dakota moving up. Inside 3 minutes to go. Aaron Weed flops it in.
The stop on Ernestine and Draper, all big characters out there. If they could get that puck in the offensive zone, grind, cycle that puck, help chew up some of this time, Coach Dorado would be happy.
Trying to center it. And the pass intercepted, and here comes Dylan Duke for Michigan. Laid in by Ernestine. Inside 2.5. Eden Pearson. Jaden Perron, and now Pearson pushing it up ice. Hunter Johannes throws it on net, swallowed up. Jake Barczewski keeps it for a faceoff.
Wise choice by the veteran goaltender Barczewski.
Final 2:19 in a one-goal game. The inaugural United Football League season kicks off this weekend. Unparalleled access, a doubleheader on ESPN. ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus. Sunday, the DC Defenders take on the San Antonio Brahmas at noon Eastern. Then the Houston Roughnecks host the Memphis Showboats. Spring football has never been better. The inaugural United Football League season kicks off this weekend. All right, you look at both benches. The strategy is an empty net at the other end. Brad Berry's going for the extra attacker now with 2:19 to go.
Well, if I'm a North Dakota fan, I want this faceoff won to Jackson Blake, but then I would like that puck brought to the net. Let's not play in the exterior too long. Let's try to get in and bang one home. That's where we've been successful in this game. Let's continue with that strategy. If I had to pick somebody who could do so, little Reese Gaber has a way of just slithering in and around that area, and he is not shy.
Face-off win for Michigan. Jake Livanovich at the line. The dump in. Trying to play to the corner off the stick of Rutger McGroarty, goes into the Michigan bench. So an empty net up to our right. And a one-goal lead for Michigan.
This is where faceoffs are so important, and not just the center iceman, but the wingers and the defense coming in to help, because more often than not, it's a tie, and that puck lands there somewhere. Well, which supporting player can come in and help win it for their team?
Interesting that North Dakota is going with one defenseman and 5 forwards. Now, the officials are coming over to the scorer's booth.
Well, so this hit a...
It appeared to go off the Michigan. It appeared to go off the Michigan
player, and it happened inside Michigan's defensive zone.
Yes.
Which would lead me to believe that their initial call was accurate, correct. Likely reviewing that, though, because pretty big deal inside the zone versus outside the zone at this point in the hockey game.
And the clock shows 2:13 to go. And everything seems to be in agreement down there. Michigan, by the way, this season has allowed 5 extra attacker goals. Off the face-off. In the corner. Hunter Johannes lays it across. Blake at the point. Jackson Blake. And a shot that gets through, and it's kicked out by Jake Barczewski.
Just missed Gaber's stick. That shot was actually a pass for deflection.
The top of the circle. And a shot again is saved by Barczewski. This one off Cameron Berg. And Jake Livanovich goes to get it in the North Dakota zone. 1:40 remaining. Reese Gaber. Jackson Blake. And he brings one in.
Big missed pass in the neutral zone there that disrupted Jackson Blake's progress forward, led them to have to dump the puck. And Michigan is going to exit.
Jackson Blake across the line. Over to the wing. Gaber circles behind the net. Yanks it to the point to Jake Livanovich. Back skates the line. Exchanges with Blake. Moving in. One-timer. And that one gets blocked. Cameron Berg had that one teed up. And then Berg gets tied up along the wall. And a hand pass is called. 1:04 on the clock.
Watching intently on what is going on over there. Cameron Berg tied up. Watch Jackson Blake dissect here, head up, ladles that one over perfectly for Berg the one time. And how about the price that was paid by Tyler Duke?
Taking one for the team right there. And they're
All
moving the
hands
face-off out because of the hand pass.
Yeah, all hands on deck, realizing that at this point in the hockey game, any pain will be a long way from the heart. And let's just make sure that we get through the next 64 seconds.
And they put Ludwig Persson, the goaltender, back in, but he's halfway to the bench. And now he skates off one more time. Jason back. Abram Weed for North Dakota. Lays it over to Jackson Blake. In the middle of the ice. Unable to hold the puck. And now spinning, moving up, is Jaden Perron. Blake tips it in. Schmaltz across. McLaughlin fans on a shot. And a backhand! And a save by Jim Barczewski.
What a save by Barczewski with a player bearing down on him. A broken play. I think it was Jamernick at the top of the goal crease. A creative entry here by North Dakota. McLaughlin lets that slide off his stick. And yes, Jamernick. Wow. Look at Edwards just sealing off that backside post.
40.1, Barczewski, the local kid. We're up 10 minutes from the rink here in Maryland Heights. Michigan gets it out of the zone. Blake with an empty net. And Michigan sends it back the other way, and that's an icing call against the Wolverines. 29.9 remaining.
Big break there for North Dakota. Oh, we talked about analytics. Now they shoot from everywhere. Goalie's out, you're firing it from your defensive zone. That used to be absolutely unacceptable behavior.
Cameron Berg on the faceoff against Mark Estapa. Empty net for North Dakota. Trying to dig it out in the circle. Here is Gaber. Backhands to Blake at the blue line. Jackson Blake across, one-timer, Livanovich denied by Barczewski.
What a save there. Great pass by Jackson Blake, changing the angle massively for Barczewski.
10 seconds to go. Along the wall, trying to dig it out. Johannes for North Dakota. Hits the backside of the net. Michigan clears the zone, and the Wolverines, with a strong third period, come back and beat North Dakota. And they will play in the regional final against their rivals, Michigan State, Sunday night. Jackson Blake injured on that last play, getting attended to as he was trying to battle for the puck in front of the North Dakota bench. But the Michigan Wolverines trailing going to the third. But Ben, they found their game when it mattered.
What an incredible game of perseverance for Coach Naranjo and the Michigan Wolverines that were very disrupted in the first period and found their way in the third. And how about their netminder, Jake Barczewski, the Canisius transfer, the St. Louis kid, locking it down late in this one to deliver the victory to push them into a game to play Michigan State, a rematch of the Big Ten tournament final, as Jackson Blake still remains on the ice. That's why you're seeing all the players down on a knee, not going through the handshake line just yet. So Jackson Blake was being pursued by Gavin Brindley. He leaned in, kind of trying to reverse check him, and I thought he hit his head. That's what I was, watching or concerned about. But I figured at the end of the game, he's laying there for a sec, just overcome with, distraught emotion of losing. Good to see him get back up here, as he looks to be at least able to get up on his own power. The Carolina draft pick played himself quite a hockey game. Very impressed with the dynamic nature with he played.
We had two terrific games here. Here's what happened to Jackson Blake in that last sequence.
Yeah, so he falls down, but then I think he hits his head on the boards. But it was a play that, I mean, he was engaged in. He was not a bystander of. And so Michigan State will have themselves a battle here just outside of St. Louis on Sunday. It is going to be hard fought. It will be emotional. And it is going to be in a crazy environment here.
It took overtime last Saturday night to decide the Big Ten championship. The Spartans and Wolverines will meet again here for a right to go to the Frozen Four. They're probably sick of one another, which is going to make it even better on Sunday night.
It's just like a 7-game series. The longer it goes, the more the hatred starts to percolate and rise to the top. And that's exactly what I expect to see. We'll have an unbelievable display and 2 5-star goaltenders.
For my partner, Ben Clymer, an outstanding crew, pulled in long hours here in Maryland Heights, Missouri. Roxy Bernstein, so long for the Show Me State. Michigan State, Sunday night.